to feel motivated at all. That is, if we are going to wake up in the morning or have any period of time during our day in which we feel like we are capable of pursuing goals.
We all want to be motivated, but motivation can feel mysterious. Some days you wake up energized, ready to conquer the world. Other days, even getting out of bed seems impossible. Why does this happen? It turns out that motivation isn't just about willpower. It's about how your brain interprets rewards, processes stress, and reacts to your environment. Neuroscience has uncovered fascinating insights into what drives human action, and understanding these principles can completely change how you approach your goals. Today, we're diving into the real science of motivation, how your brain fuels action, why it sometimes fails, and what you can do to hack it for success. Dopamine. The brain's motivation molecule. At the heart of motivation is dopamine, often called the feel-good neurotransmitter. But it's more about wanting than pleasure. Dopamine drives your brain to pursue rewards, pushing you toward action before you even experience satisfaction. Studies show that dopamine spikes not only when you achieve a goal, but even when you anticipate it. This is why setting clear, specific goals is so powerful. Your brain starts releasing dopamine in anticipation, creating natural drive. Interestingly, dopamine doesn't make you happy in the traditional sense. It creates the urge to move, to work, to strive. Too little dopamine and even exciting opportunities feel unappealing. Too much and your brain craves constant stimulation. The key is balance. Understanding dopamine gives you a tool. By structuring your environment and goals to trigger anticipation, you can naturally prime your brain for action. Motivation isn't magic, it's chemical. Reward prediction and the motivation loop. Our brains are wired to predict rewards. This isn't just about treats or money. It's about the brain calculating effort versus expected payoff. Neuroscientists describe this as the reward prediction arrow. When reality matches or exceeds expectation, dopamine reinforces behavior. When outcomes fall short, motivation drops. This explains why small wins matter. By breaking big goals into smaller, achievable steps, your brain experiences a series of rewarding moments, keeping dopamine flowing and energy high. This is why apps, gamified tasks, and progress tracking are so effective. They feed your brain a constant stream of mini rewards. Motivation is like a momentum engine. It builds as your brain anticipates success. Once you understand this, achieving goals becomes less about brute force and more about engineering a series of micro successes that keep your brain engaged and eager to act. Intrinsic vs. extrinsic motivation. Not all motivation comes from the same source. Extrinsic motivation comes from external rewards, money, praise, recognition. Intrinsic motivation comes from internal satisfaction, the joy of mastery, curiosity, or personal growth. Research in psychology shows that intrinsic motivation is often more sustainable. Why? External rewards can backfire, reducing long-term drive if the reward disappears. Intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, fuels action because it aligns with your core values and passions. Your brain is naturally wired to pursue activities that are inherently interesting or meaningful, triggering dopamine and other positive chemicals without needing external reinforcement. The lesson is simple: find what genuinely excites you. Motivation isn't about forcing yourself to grind. It's about connecting your goals to what makes your brain and heart light up. When you do this, action becomes natural, not a struggle. The role of anticipation and visualization. Visualization isn't just a self-help gimmick. It taps directly into your brain's reward system. When you vividly imagine achieving a goal, your brain activates the same neural circuits as if you were actually experiencing success. Studies using fMRI scans show that imagining winning a race, nailing a presentation, or finishing a project increases dopamine release and primes motor systems for action. Anticipation and mental rehearsal create a motivational head start, making it easier to take real-world steps. The key is sensory detail. Imagining the sights, sounds, and feelings associated with success makes the brain treat it almost like reality. Motivation isn't just about thinking. You're wiring your brain for action before you even move. It's like warming up a car engine. Before a long drive, your brain is ready to hit the gas the moment you start. Overcoming procrastination. The motivation barrier. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's a conflict between the prefrontal cortex, which plans and strategizes, and the limbic system, which seeks immediate comfort. When a task feels boring, difficult, or stressful, your limbic system dominates, making it easy to delay action. Neuroscience suggests a few strategies to hack this. First, reduce friction by making tasks easier to start. Break them into micro steps, set short timers, or change your environment to reduce distractions. Second, pair the task with a small reward. Completing a tiny piece triggers dopamine, which motivates further action. Finally, cultivate self-compassion. Studies show that harsh self-criticism actually activates stress pathways and reduces motivation. By understanding the brain's push and pull, procrastination stops feeling like a personal flaw. It becomes a solvable neural puzzle. And once you solve it, taking action becomes far less painful. Motivation and stress. The Goldilocks zone. Stress and motivation are intimately linked. Moderate stress, sometimes called eustress, can enhance focus, energy, and resilience. Too little stress, and the brain feels under-stimulated. Too much stress, and motivation collapses under cortisol overload. This explains why deadlines can sometimes be energizing and sometimes paralyzing. Neuroscience shows that optimal motivation exists in a Goldilocks zone of stress, just enough pressure to trigger engagement, but not enough to cause anxiety or burnout. Techniques like time blocking, incremental goals, and mindfulness help maintain this balance. Understanding your own threshold is key. Motivation isn't about eliminating stress. It's about managing it so that your brain uses it as fuel rather than a roadblock. When you find that sweet spot, tasks that once felt daunting suddenly feel achievable. Social motivation. The brain on connection. Humans are wired to seek social approval and connection. Research shows that social factors, encouragement, accountability, and even competition, activate reward pathways in the brain. When you share goals with friends or mentors, your brain releases dopamine in response to feedback, recognition, or progress updates. Social motivation works because it taps into both extrinsic and intrinsic drives. You want the reward of approval, but also the satisfaction of contributing and improving. That's why mastermind groups, accountability partners, and social challenges are so effective. Motivation is contagious. Observing others' success can trigger action in your own brain. If you've ever felt pumped to work harder after seeing someone else achieve something impressive, that's neuroscience in action. Connection doesn't just make life better, it literally drives your brain to act. Habit formation. Making motivation automatic. Motivation alone isn't enough. Habits turn action into automatic behavior. Neuroscientists describe habits as neural loops. Cue, gay routine, key reward. When repeated, these loops become hardwired, requiring less conscious effort. For example, exercising at the same time every morning or journaling after lunch eventually feels natural. Habits reduce reliance on fluctuating willpower and dopamine spikes. They create a stable system for action. Research shows that consistent repetition strengthens synaptic pathways, making behavior more automatic and motivation less dependent on fleeting energy or mood. By designing smart routines and leveraging the brain's natural plasticity, you can transform short-term motivation into long-term progress. Motivation isn't a burst of energy, it's a carefully constructed neural architecture that keeps you moving forward. Environment and motivation. Brain friendly design. Your surroundings heavily influence motivation. Neuroscience shows that clutter, distractions, and poor lighting activate stress pathways, reducing dopamine and focus. Conversely, organized, stimulating, and intentional environments prime your brain for action. Simple changes like cleaning your workspace, placing reminders in sight, or structuring your day can drastically increase productivity. Environmental cues act as triggers for the brain's motivation circuits. For example, seeing your running shoes by the door can prompt a jog, leaving your journal on the nightstand can trigger reflection. Motivation isn't just mental, it's spatial and sensory. By designing spaces that support your goals, you're creating an external system that aligns with your internal drive. Sometimes, the easiest way to boost motivation isn't willpower, it's smarter surroundings. Motivation is no longer a mysterious force, it's a biological process shaped by dopamine, neural circuits, social cues, habits, and environment. By understanding how the brain drives action, we can engineer conditions that make motivation natural, sustainable, and even enjoyable. From visualizing success to structuring micro-rewards, from managing stress to designing motivating spaces, the science of motivation is remarkably practical. Imagine waking up with the energy and drive to tackle your goals without relying on fleeting willpower. By hacking your brain's natural systems, you can transform your life, accomplish what matters, and feel satisfaction along the way. Motivation isn't luck or magic, it's science. And once you understand it, the question changes from, how do I motivate myself, to, how do I set my brain up for unstoppable action? The power to act, to create, and to succeed is literally built into your neural circuits. You just need to learn how to tap into it.